Alright, so we're doing something different this time. I'm going to talk a little bit about my new laptop. So I'm going to do an unboxing and kind of a talk through of what I needed to do to get it all set up. This is the Razer Blade 15. It's the early 2022 model. It has an i7-12800H. That's a 14 core. Intel's going to this new thing where they have high power cores and then they have the low power cores, which is supposed to save power. This particular one also has a QHD display, which is at 240 hertz, 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, which is the M.2. This is one of the new ones that will use PCIe 4, and the new RTX 3070 Ti GPU. This laptop is replacing my old laptop. Is also a Razer Blade. It's kind of the whole reason why I'm buying this in the first place. There are more powerful laptops that you can get, but not really ones that are going to match how small this laptop is. So the form factor, how light it is, how small it is, and just the quality of the build. They do have Asus now, which actually has a webcam, but everything is plastic, and it's not the quality isn't there. And then you can go Alienware, which would cost about the same amount or slightly less, and you'd end up with something that's more powerful, but it's a lot larger. So I was looking for something small form factor, and this is it. In a little bit here, I will compare the old Razer Blade 14. That's not the Ryzen one, the new one. It's the 2016 one with the 970M GPU. The first thing that I noticed on this laptop is how many slots are cut into it for cooling. They are all over the place, and I'm sure that it's necessary. This does have a vapor chamber for cooling. It's not just your standard heatsink, but it has to get rid of the heat somehow, and that's why all those extra holes are cut in it on the bottom and also on the back of the device. So I went ahead and grabbed my old laptop, which is again a Razer Blade 14 early 2016 model. It's almost identical in size to the new Razer Blade in all dimensions. It is actually slightly shorter, but that's just because of the feet that are on the new Razer Blade. It is really impressive how much power and capability is packed into the new laptop. Obviously, back in the day, whenever the 14 came out in 2016, that was also very impressive. So there's not really a huge change. Something that I was hesitant about going for in the new laptops is the old one. The one that I have is a QHD plus screen, so it's actually a little better than 1440, and it also has the ability for touch. So it's a touch screen, and it has an amazing screen, and it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous screen on the 14, and going to the new laptop, it doesn't look as good. It's more of a matte screen, which does stop all the reflections of light, and the old screen definitely reflects quite a bit. It's very glossy, but it's just gorgeous. So I think that, you know, the older screen, since it is a 14-inch screen, it has a massive bezel, which is frustrating. The new one doesn't have a big bezel. It's very small and sleek and goes all the way around. But again, it's just not the same. I'd actually been waiting for some time to get this new laptop, and the kind of the final reason that I got it was the 14. I was running into limitations with both the GPU, because Adobe software, I run Creative Suite, and it wasn't recognizing the GPU anymore. The GPU was no longer it no longer worked with the Adobe software, and I was running into limitations with the RAM. Now, the RAM is soldered in on the 14. It's still 16 gigabytes of DDR4, and that's the reason why I didn't want to go with a 14 again, was because the new 14 is also soldered on 16 gigabytes, and I wanted the ability to expand that in the future. It took a lot longer than I thought for this thing to actually get started up, but I mean it's the first time it's starting, so I was able to run through all of the, it comes with Windows 11 standard. The old laptop didn't even have the ability to run Windows 11; it could only run Windows 10. So, I'm still getting used to Windows 11, and I'm finding that it has a lot of, for security reasons, it has cut out a lot of your capability to monitor or edit anything with the hardware. The new webcam is 1080p, and it has Windows Hello, which is actually really convenient. I'm using this as a part of a workstation. Yes, I bought a laptop. I didn't want to build a desktop and then not be able to carry it around. I like the idea that I can do everything that I need on my laptop, and just use it as a powerful workstation. And then when I need to go somewhere, I just unplug it from all of the monitors and everything, and then take it with me. And it's not a hindrance for me. I can still do things on the go. Alright, so I am getting ready to sell my old laptop if anyone's going to buy it, and wanted to make sure that I was able to clean that laptop. I also wanted to see what the new one looked like on the interiors, so I went ahead and grabbed a trusty T5 is the right Torx bit size to take out all of the screws. And you'll be able to see here in a second what both of these look like on the interior. Very, very similar. It's Razer Blade, and I mean, laptops require kind of the same things regardless, so nothing special. So the old Razer Blade has 10 screws that you have to take out. This new one, I think it makes use of a lot of like clips on the interior. And that's why it only requires 6 screws. That's 4 on the front and then 2 on the back of the case. And you'll see it's for the original takeoff, it was a little difficult to be able to find the lip on the new laptop. Once I was able to get that cover off, you can see the interior. Again, on the old 14, you can see the RAM soldered to the motherboard there. And then on the new one, you have 2 different slots that you can enter, so you can do, you know, dual channel up to 64 gigs of RAM. I was trying to look at this hard drive port on the new laptop because it looks like you can double up. I didn't actually read anything about that on the website. Normally it says, you know, 1 open and 1 used, but it doesn't say anything on there. I did read in a review somewhere that you can double up on the new one, so you can have up to 2 hard drives, and I don't know if there's a maximum on what you're using, but I would imagine 4 terabytes. But that is the interior. So one of the reasons, an additional reason I bought a new laptop was because you couldn't run dual monitors with the 14. Even using Thunderbolt, you could only run 1 monitor. Thunderbolt and the HDMI together would not work. I tried it several times. I tried multiple configurations. I bought different adapters. It doesn't work. So what you have to do is use a USB-A adapter, which will kind of destroy everything that you're trying to do, because when you use USB-A, it's running an internal display adapter on the USB-A adapter, and that like doesn't work for any Adobe software. Basically, you have to unplug it every time you want to use Adobe software because it'll freeze. It won't recognize the quote GPU that is running on the USB-A adapter. So you really have to run that. You just have to get a new laptop. And what I wanted to run was a dual display adapter for this. The monitors that I have they're not Thunderbolt 4 monitors, so I couldn't just buy a Thunderbolt 4 dock and then run multiple lines off of that. So what I had to do was buy a Thunderbolt to display port adapter. I bought the dual adapter. The issue that I ran into was that the dual adapter doesn't work for you to plug both monitors into that dual adapter and get HDR and get the full resolution that you want. It doesn't work. It created so many issues while I was trying to run it. So what I ended up having to do was run the Thunderbolt display adapter with only 1 monitor plugged in, running on HDR 1440p, and you can I ended up, to make the screens match, I had to run 120 hertz. So you can't run 240 obviously, because my screens will only go up to 165, but I could only run 120 because that was the cap on my HDMI for these monitors, because the monitors themselves are a little old. So I used 1 HDMI and 1 DVI running through Thunderbolt 3, and was able to get it set up running HDR 1440p at 120 hertz. And it took me a excruciatingly long time to figure that out. Alright, so I'm going to talk briefly about performance. I don't have benchmark software because I don't benchmark stuff all day. I ended up downloading User Benchmark because I use them for, looking and comparing all the computer stuff. So I downloaded that. I ran it through there. This first run, you'll notice that everything is really low. I was really surprised, and it's because I didn't make the change from balanced in the computer's power options. So I made that change, I ran it again, it was still pretty disappointing, and then I realized that I can go into Razer Synapse and boost the GPU and max out the CPU, and that allowed me to achieve a lot better results. Now, with Razer Blade and with laptops in general on the 12th gen CPUs, you can't use any of the Intel overclocking software, and you can't use the BIOS to overclock anything, to include RAM, right? You just can't do it. I believe you can run throttle stop if you really want to mess with that. I don't, and I'm probably just going to leave everything stock and running as it should be, as Razer Blade says it should be, despite the fact that it does keep everything very, very cool and reliable and safe, right? That's kind of the whole point. The laptop is powerful, and it's been great. I will tell you that while editing this specific video, I did end up having to stop and install new RAM. There's only one company right now that sells it. It's Crucial. So I'll talk about that in another video, and how I had to swap out the RAM and what I'm running with that and what I'm going to do. But just a quick walkthrough and review of this laptop. Hopefully it helps someone make a decision on buying it or not. I don't have another comparison other than my old laptop, so thanks for watching.